The first Five Nights at Freddy's movie didn't get the best reviews, even though I ended up liking it alright. From what I understand though, the main complaints were it wasn't scary enough, the dialogue was pretty bad, and the story was a bit lacking. Did they improve any of these elements with the sequel, and were they able to make it the Empire Strikes Back of the FNAF franchise? So Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is the sequel to the 2023 film based on the popular video game franchise of the same name, and it takes place 1 year later with Mike Schmidt trying to move past the traumatic events at the pizzeria and give his sister Abby as normal of a childhood as possible. Mike clearly has feelings for Vanessa Shelley, who seems to feel the same way, but is having a harder time moving past the monstrous deeds of her father. To make matters worse, more dark secrets of the pizzeria's deadly past are unearthed, and a new threat begins to take shape. Howdy, I'm the guy with no name. Thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, I love to talk about movies, TV shows, and sometimes video games. And if you like what you see here and want to support a small channel like mine, it would be much appreciated. Like and subscribe. My current goal is I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, which is the first step in monetization. So getting closer. Emma Tammy returns to direct the sequel, and it stars Josh Hutcherson as Mike Schmidt, Elizabeth Lail as Vanessa Shelley, Piper Rubio as Abby Schmidt, and Matthew Lillard as William Afton, Vanessa's serial killer father. So I won't leave you hanging any longer. The answer to the question of if they took the feedback from the first one and used it to improve the second, the answer is decisively no. An argument could be made that this movie's scarier than the first one, and in fact, I'd probably go so far as to say it's scarier, but other than that, really no improvements here. It's much worse in those same areas. Let's start with the dialogue. The dialogue was very bad and very clunky. The opening scene starts off with two little girls talking to each other, and the conversation is so clunky and unnatural and not at all like little kids talk, especially like little kids talk to each other. And I would almost say it sounded like AI, but really AI's gotten good enough that it would be an insult to say it's AI, AI sounding. But yeah, unfortunately the opening scene was just a taste of what was to come. I didn't find the directing to be too good. The acting, on the other hand, was pretty good, though it's hard to judge given, once again, the bad dialogue that they had to work with. There were some lines that sounded wooden from Josh Hutcherson, even though overall I thought he did do a good job and I enjoyed seeing him back as one of the leads. Piper Rubio, who played his sister, I thought she's still a young actress, but I thought she improved quite a bit in some of her acting skills between the first and the second movie. The real MVPs, though, are Elizabeth Lail and Matthew Lillard. They really seemed to give it their all, and I was impressed with some of the lines they were able to pull off. The story and a lot of character decisions that are made in the movie are really sloppy and not well thought out. I don't know if you watch Pitch Meeting, but I know Ryan's gonna have a field day with this one. The overall, general plot isn't a problem, and it's intriguing. The problem is in the details. The more, specific plot points that you analyze, the more plot holes you're gonna find. And I know that in horror movies, a lot of characters make dumb decisions, but this one, it happens way too often. There's one in particular that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Basically, the character sees the threat coming, he's gonna get killed. I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna say the situation, no spoilers, but he's gonna get killed. But anyway, there's a threat coming toward him. Anyone, I feel confident saying 100% of people in that scenario would try to get out of the way, and there's an obvious thing that he could attempt to do to get out of the way that he never does. And I don't know, it took me out of the movie. Oh, I will say though, on a positive note, the Jim Henson Company did a great job once again with the killer animatronics, and they look great. Overall, if I had to sum it up, it just felt like there was less to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 than there was to the first one. All of the flaws of the first one are also present here. They're just more glaring in the sequel. Except, like I said, I think the second one ultimately was scarier. But yeah, the plot wasn't the best. There's a lack of logic throughout. There's really bad dialogue, and no amount of good acting could save it. If you didn't like the original movie, then I feel pretty confident in saying that there's no way this one's gonna turn you into a believer. If you did like the first, then I think that if you go in with low expectations and really at the end of the day you're just looking for some killer animatronic horror, and heck, maybe you've even played the games, so you're looking for some nostalgic elements and references and stuff, then I think you'll probably appreciate it more than I did. As for me, I wouldn't say it was bad per se, but I wouldn't pay money to go see it in the theater unless you had an extra fistful of dollars to spare. Let me know in the comments if you've gotten a chance to see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 yet, and if so, what were your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree with my feelings on the movie? Or if you haven't seen the second, but maybe you've seen the first, where do you land on that one? I'd be curious to know. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and want to check out my most recent one I have up here, I got ranking all 3 of the Knives Out movies, including Wake Up Dead Man. Or if you're looking for another movie review, I got one up of Predator Badlands. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. This is the guy with no name, signing off.